following is a presentation of Flow Sports.
Tulsa in January. Inside this expo center, dirt racing reaches its purest form. Since 1987, the Chili Bowl Nationals have been the proving ground where every motorsports discipline meets and only one driver leaves with a golden driller. 350 plus cars, one building, and no margin for error. This is the 2026 Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink.
"69 drivers attempted to punch their ticket to the big dance on Monday night of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals presented by NOS Energy Drink, but only 2 were successful. Kyle Larson and Briggs Danner now have a seat at the 24-car table for Saturday night's finale. 79 more will make their bid this evening on Warren Cat qualifying night number 2 at the Tulsa Expo Raceway. It was this race 1 year ago today that the racing world was collectively shocked when Landon Brooks and Brenham Crouch were the Tuesday lock-ins. Will history repeat itself? Let's all find out together. Good afternoon. I'm Chase Rodman alongside of Brian Walker and Tony Laporta. We want to say thank you to all of our FloRacing 24/7 viewers as well. You're with us through the pre-race show and the heat races as well. You can find the rest of the program in the Flow Sports app underneath of FloRacing. Guys, it is going to be incredible. We've already saw some great action. I mentioned it already. Kyle Larson, the winner last night, along with Briggs Danner, second. Those two guys are already a part of Saturday. Coming up one spot short, of course, was Cannon McIntosh, but we do it all over again here tonight with 79 drivers, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big story out of last night was how good of a job Briggs Danner did at bouncing back after heartbreak on the Monday night prelim back in 2025. It was great to see him kind of, go into the moment, keep his head about him, and go out there and do what he needed to do. And look at Cannon McIntosh on the podium. He looks distraught, like someone just backed over his dog, and it was because he was one spot out of locking in. But like I said yesterday, drivers tell us all year long, if you don't lock in through your prelim night, Saturday can be very, very difficult for you here at the Chili Bowl Nationals.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. You are not safe in those B mains on Saturday. Now let's take a look at a schedule of events for tonight. It's a little bit different from Monday, and this is kind of what it's going to be looking like for the rest of the week up until Saturday. We will have hot laps at 4 p.m. This pre-race show will lead right into those hot laps. We'll have opening ceremonies. We'll have heat races, of course, 8 laps in distance. You want to be in the top 40 in passing points to make one of the 4 qualifiers. There is a potential of D mains tonight. There will definitely be 2 C mains that are 12 laps in distance, taking the top 4 to the B mains. Then those 4 qualifiers, 10 laps in distance. The top 16 in points after qualifiers and the heat races will lock themselves into the 30-lap main event. There will be 2 B mains taking the top 4 out of each of those for 15 laps of action. And then in the A main, it's all about the top 2. If they are able to run top 2, they will be a part of the big dance on Saturday. Brian, we've got definitely a lot of notable entries for this evening, but really what sticks out to me as compared to yesterday, there was maybe 3 or 4 guys you could say, I mean, this guy can definitely get the job done. There's a great chance that he does it tonight. I feel like there's no clear-cut, quote-unquote, favorite on the Tuesday night prelim.
Yeah, I agree. I think the general consensus, if you talk to most people in the pit area yesterday, is the top 4 we got is what we kind of thought we'd have.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
They started 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, so it's basically we saw it all coming tonight. I look at Ryan Timms as the guy. He obviously wasn't supposed to be here. He switched to tonight after the Buddy Kofoid news came out. But behind him, like picking the podium was hard.
Oh yeah,
it's just a litany of just really, really good race car drivers that you can name 10, 15 guys that it will not shock me at all if they lock in tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what the 3 for me looks like at the end of the pre-race show as far as our podium picks, because they are vastly different. That just goes to show you how many drivers have a chance to potentially end up in those podium positions here this evening. Also, other things that we could talk about, I mean, Landon Brooks, Brenham Crouch, I mentioned there in the open, Tony. No one, and I mean no one, expected those 2 guys to lock in here last year.
No, I was watching the prelim feature from this night 1 year ago this morning, and it was a really good race. I mean, it came down to the very last lap between Brenham Crouch and Landon Brooks battling with each other, and I got a chance to speak with Landon Brooks. He's just like his crew chief and, kind of de facto team leader, Shane Golobic, who ran 4th last night and is so good in this building. But just like Shane, Landon Brooks is not a full-time midget guy, right? He's not catching midget shows all over the country all year long. He told me between Chili Bowl in 2025 and being here tonight, he's ran 3 races, 3 nights of competition in a midget. So, again, I just think that speaks to how important this event is, that whether you're running them all year long or not, you've got to be inside the SageNet Center to compete at the Chili Bowl Nationals powered by NOS.
Landon Brooks, we'll see if it wasn't a fluke last year when he's able to get the win, if he could back it up here tonight. Another thing to mention is it's Fender night in Tulsa there, Brian. We've got 2 stars in dirt late model racing. Of course, Drake Troutman, one of the rookies this year. He'll be running tonight along with Ricky Thornton Jr., who's been going back and forth between Arizona and Tulsa. And also a couple NASCAR stars with Sheldon Creed from the O'Reilly Series and Ty Gibbs. Both of them will be in the field here tonight. And there's some more of the notable entries. Pickens is on there, of course, the New Zealand champion. You've got Blake Hahn on there. Hank Davis, a prelim night winner here in the past. And it is, no doubt about it, 'tis the season. It is Beeson season after his win at the shootout.
Yeah, I believe tonight we have 4 former prelim winners in the field, which I want to say is the most we're going to see all week. I think a lot of them have 3 or 2. I mean, what do we have? Zach Daum, Hank Davis, Landon Brooks, and Alex Bright going way back to, I think, 2014. So tons of guys, too, that know how to win in Tulsa.
Well, and it wasn't just a win in Non-Wing Outlaw 2 weeks ago here inside.
Dominated it.
It was an absolute butt kicking. All right, I can't say what I wanted to say, but Jonathan Beeson leads all 55 laps to earn his 3rd Golden Driller here in the building. Although last night we did just present him with the Hard Luck Award after crashing out, after racing his way in from a C last year's on Saturday night. So it's a tale of 2 different Beesons in this building. It feels like hopefully tonight it's that successful Beeson as he'll chase what would be his 4th Golden Driller over the 2 different events.
Now, what I would like to mention before we go to our first break, Brian, as well, was I have been here, I think this is my 13th or 14th Chili Bowl. You've been here for way more than me. But the crowd last night on a Monday was spectacular. I could not believe how many people were in the stands on the first night.
Yeah, it was amazing. That was year 7 of the Monday night prelim. It started back in 2019. I remember when, it was first added, those stands were empty relatively, right? I mean,
plenty of seats. You could sit anywhere.
Yeah, I think it was from 2000, I want to say 7 to 19. The whole world was acclimated to 4 prelim nights. The event started Tuesday, and it took, I think you've seen year after year after year, Monday night get bigger, and with that, Tuesday night get bigger, Wednesday night get bigger. I want to say it was last year, I was like, this Wednesday crowd feels like a Saturday crowd. We're well on the way for that again. Yeah,
the Monday crowd yesterday was spectacular. We'll see if that amps up even more here on Tuesday. We'll take our first break of the pre-race show. After this break, we'll be hearing from Walkipedia Brian Walker and his triple dipping stats here on the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show.
He does it! He gets number 2!
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
What you put in your body matters. The focus to stay locked in, the energy to keep going. From the shop to the wrenches to the driver's seat. Wherever life takes you, make sure you're fueled for it. Power your life with Jugo Superfoods. Get 15% off at checkout with code DRILLER.
For more than 35 years, Flying A Motorsports has been the trusted name in race trailers, motor coaches, and toter home. As the world's #1 Intech trailer dealer, Flying A leads the way in custom-designed race trailers and car haulers built to fit your vision. With a massive lineup of in-stock inventory and fully built custom builds from top brands like Intech, Renegade, Showhauler, T&E, Bravo, and C-Tech, we're ready to equip racers at every level. Whether you're a dirt racer, drag racer, or hot rodder alike, we have something for you.
Tickets for the 2026 Season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500, June 6th and 7th. the NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th, and the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to www.raceway.com.
At Buzzy Racing, it's all blood, sweat, and gears because we're racers first.
We're a family business, but more than that, we build what we'd race.
Steering boxes, transmissions, rear ends. If it goes under the race car, we build it.
Buzzy Racing.
Family owned, track proven.
Built by racers, for racers.
It's the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show, and it continues on. Chase Rodman, Brian Walker, and Tony Laporta up here on the stage, back in the pit area outside of turns 3 and 4. And it is now time, the part of the show that I certainly enjoy because I'm a big fan of statistics when it comes to racing, statistics when it comes to any type of sport as well. Brian Walker, you are the stat man. You are Wikipedia. If you did not know that, that is what he looks like right there. If you follow him on Twitter, he does a lot of tweeting, a lot of Xing, as they call it here today, I guess. Brian, what is the first of your triple dipping stats for tonight?
So yesterday we talked about Keith Coons' Motorsports downsizing, right? They normally bring 16, 17 cars. They wanted to really focus on the 10 they have. Today we're going to talk about Kevin Swindell, Mike Kerb, Todd Bertrand, Chris Harvey, everyone, Glenn Stiers, everyone involved in that camp, expanding Swindell Speed Lab. Obviously, we've seen them contend with Logan Seavey for the driller every single year since really Logan got in the car. I think it was 2020 was his first year. This year they have 4 cars. And we're going to see the first one tonight. Young teenager from California, Jet Barnes, who I think can 100% be a Rookie of the Year, too. We saw like with Jacob Boxell last night. And that's going to lead into, I believe, tomorrow's Emerson Axum, Kyle Cummins Thursday, and then, of course, Logan Seavey on Friday.
Well, Jet Barnes has been successful in this building already, picking up a Golden Driller in junior sprint competition at the Tulsa Shootout. And I got a chance to talk to Kevin just a little while ago before we went live here at the stage. And, you know, he talked about it. It's a twofold deal, right, having those extra cars. Is one, he wants to get legitimate guys who can win and run well for his team on that piece of pavement here in the pit area. But he also talked about, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, the more cars you got running out of your stable, the more data you're getting back in, right? And ultimately, I think the driving force is still to make sure Logan Seavey stays up at the front and continues, his success here in this building at the Chili Bowl Nationals. But Kevin said it's a twofold impact, right? You got good guys, fast guys who can make your stuff run up front, but you're also getting to build your notebook and help continue the success that whole team has had here at the Expo.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, if you weren't familiar, the 4 cars in Swindell's pit area: Kyle Cummins, Emerson Axum, Jet Barnes, as we mentioned, and that is the Barnes car on your screen there, and Logan Seavey, of course, Chili Bowl champion.
By the way, another win this week for Kevin, 10th driller overall. He won one way back in the day in go-karts at the shootout. I think 2 maybe, and obviously all his ones as a driver here at the Chili Bowl. One as an owner with Gavin Boschel at the shootout, and of course with an owner as Logan.
Yeah, Kevin Swindell's got a lot of drillers. I've seen him at his house personally, and he's got them properly displayed in his living room there. So other stats, what else do we got, Brian? Our second of the triple dipping stats.
We're through one night, so I figured it's a good time to talk about passing points, right? Of
course it is. It's always a good time to talk about passing points.
Yep, so Tuesday historically, I don't know why, but it's always the highest average to make the A-main. 180.5 since 2019 when the expansion of 5 prelim nights, obviously, and it could go even higher tonight. Based off Monday night historically is always super low. We have such a low car count. Last night the field got tougher than it's ever been on Monday too, but the cutoff was 184.5, highest it's ever been on Monday. I think it could go higher tonight.
Well, and you're the math expert. You know I'm not very good with equations or these kind of arithmetic. I can't even spell E equals MC squared. But could that higher average have anything to do with the fact that it's typically a very high car count on Tuesday nights, and the more drivers you've got competing and out there passing each other is going to thusly make it more difficult to earn enough points to be in that invert when we get to the qualifiers?
Yeah, absolutely. You see it on the lineups. I think we went from 69 last night to 79 tonight
79,
already.
yep.
So, I mean, just it's gonna help do that.
Yeah, and there were a couple of heats last night that only had 7 cars. That is not the case tonight. Looking at these lineups on our desk here, each of the 9 heat races has at least 8 cars in it. There's a couple of really good guys coming from the 4th and 5th rows. Some of them have 5 rows. So we could maybe see another super high point night here on Tuesday as well. And the final of the triple dipping stats is...
can change lead to success?
I think it can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw it last night. Christopher Bell obviously venturing out on his own, winning the Race of Champions. We'll see him Thursday night. But, I mean, speaking of that, he'll be a car owner tonight with Caden Brown, That's a new deal. There's lots. There's Parker Price Miller. He's running for the Hinks, trying to get into his first A main. Zach Dahm moved back to Bondio. Bondio's back in the building. Dom hasn't been an A main since 2020. Gavin Bushell moved over to Kyle Busch's ride.
Yeah.
He's been in 2 B mains, I think, with Keith Coons. Michael Pickens has returned to RMS. He was in the A main with them a couple years ago. And another Chase Randall's in the 7U. It's 7U's day over there at Trifecta. So there's lots of guys who have been on the verge of making an A main that are just trying to get back into the big dance, that have made a change that can hopefully lead to that come Saturday.
And Parker's one of those guys. I feel like he's just been unbelievably close to making the feature here on Saturday. Just something always seems to happen. There was that one year where he came from 23rd into a lock-in spot and got passed or wrecked on the last couple laps. But Tony, it's going to be fun to see a couple of these guys. You know, I think the quickest chicken, Chase Randall, has a pretty good shot with Trifecta. I think he's kind of a little bit of a, under the radar going into tonight.
I just saw him in the pill draw line, to see how he'd, go out for tonight's heat races, and he was very relaxed. I said, "What are your hopes? What are your expectations?" He said, "I don't really have any." I said, "Well, you should have a few, and one of them would be to make a lot of passing points and moves out there." But yeah, he, Chase is somebody to watch. And then again, quickly, just to your point, Brian, about Christopher Bell and the change from Keith Coons Motorsports to his own equipment. He's got Caden Brown, another car, earning them some data and some information to help that 2-car effort be quicker on Saturday when both of them are going to have to be on track.
And there is Gavin Bushell. You saw the 51 car. It was driven by Kyle Busch last year.
That was Big Al.
Big Al was sitting in the chair there. He was making sure everything wasn't moving and all that good stuff. So he's got Gavin Bushell's got some good guys in his corner over there in that 51 car, and we're interested to see how things go for him. Well, let's take another break here on the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show. When we come back, we'll chat with 3-time Chili Bowl champion and the Race of Champions winner last night, Christopher Bell.
Race Car Engineering is your single source supplier for all your racing equipment. Dirt, asphalt, drag strip, street rod, or off-road. Their experts can keep you on the track and in the lead no matter what type of racing you do. Hundreds of brands, thousands of parts. Find them online at racecareng.com or call them toll-free at 800-882-7231 and make sure to ask for your free catalog. That's Race Car Engineering, 800-882-7231.
The 3 for Me, only at Chili's, keeps getting even better with the Big QP, and all this for just $10.99. With 85% more beef, it makes a quarter-pound burger look tiny and, well, yeah, tiny. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
When it comes to magneto ignition performance, there's only one name that you can trust, and that's BR Motorsports Ignitioneering. Servicing the racing industry for over 30 years, our state-of-the-art Magneto Dyno Test Lab facility is equipped with the most technically advanced equipment available. And that's why crew chiefs like Paul Silva and Philip Dietz choose BR for all their ignition needs. To learn more, visit us at brpromag.com.
Unveiled at PRI, 5-Star introduced an all-new sprint car body engineered using advanced CFD aero analysis, validated through on-track testing using real-time airflow data.
There's no reason why anybody will want to run anything else than this 5-Star sprint car body.
Designed to fit Maxim, XXX, Schnee Lawson, JR1, J&J, DRC, Spike, and more. 5-Star's all-new sprint car body. The new standard in sprint car technology.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
The Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show continues on here on the stage outside of turns 3 and 4. We're now joined by last night's Race of Champions winner, Christopher Bell, of course, a 3-time Chili Bowl Nationals champion as well. Christopher, it's great to see you again. We go back a long way, you and I, here at this event. The first one I ever came to, I remember you picked me up from the airport, and those were the days back in the old R-Factor days, of course, but it's great to have you back in the building. How excited are you to be back? With 404 cars in the building, this event just keeps growing and growing and growing every year.
It sure is incredible. I don't think any of us would have imagined that we've got to the spot we're at now, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. I love this event. I love this race. You know, they do such a good job with the racetrack, and people always ask me, like, what's so great about it? And it literally is just a little bit of everything. If you like to come here, you like to party, you like to have a good time, we got that. You like to come here and be a race fan, we've got that covered too. And the racing that we see night in, night out here at the Chili Bowl is always incredible.
So obviously you came back last year with Keith Kunz, now you're in your own deal. Those 2 years in between, you missed 2023 and 2024. I believe before that it was 12 straight years you were always here racing, and then obviously you grew up coming here as a fan too. How tough were those 2 years when you weren't here? Because you preach to the choir how much you absolutely love this place. It can't be fun watching.
I definitely, yeah, it was definitely hard, but I promise you I was at home, tuned in, watching every single lap, and yeah, it just is. This is home for me. You know, I remember coming here and literally standing a couple feet behind us, you know, asking for autographs right there. And yeah, it's just, this is home. I love this place. It's the best vacation I could ask for.
You have described Emmett Hahn, the co-founder of the Chili Bowl Nationals, as someone who created a platform for you, a race car driver from Oklahoma. He created a platform for you to showcase your talents, whether it was the Chili Bowl, Tulsa Shootout, or even, I know you've talked about ASCS2, the American Small Car Series.
Yep.
All of those were platforms you described to showcase what you could do, your natural God-given talents. What's the next young driver? Who do you think is the next driver that's getting to use these platforms to showcase their talent? Who's using the Chili Bowl the way you used it to take your name to the top?
Well, that's what's really cool about this event, is that it's literally open to anybody, and anyone can step up to the plate and get it done. So, you know, people ask me, like, what is, like, why the Chili Bowl? Why is it such a big deal? Even the Tulsa Shootout. But it's a big deal because everybody comes here, and it is the ultimate barometer for a race car driver. And especially driving the midgets here, it doesn't matter how good of a car you have, how good of an engine you have. If you're not going to drive well, you're not going to perform well. So this is you can't fake your way around this place. You have to drive well in order to succeed. And yeah, it's just if you do well here, you're putting a feather in your cap.
Obviously, one of the big storylines this year is you coming in with your new team in a 2-car operation. Now, everybody's been saying, yeah, Christopher Bell, he's his own crew chief and all this, right? But if I'm not mistaken, I think unless he is twins walking around, I'm pretty sure that your family member Brian Kemenaugh is in the house helping out. So who is actually making these setup calls on these cars?
Yeah, it's on me, buddy.
It really is.
Success and failure is on me. Yeah, Brian Kemenaugh, my father-in-law, obviously, he's got a Hall of Fame sprint car career.
Love that guy.
It's been a ton of fun to, you know, bounce ideas off of him. And yeah, he hasn't spent any time around midget racing. I think he said he came to the Chili Bowl one time with his brother Chad back in the 2000s. But yeah, he is super switched on and great to bounce ideas off of. But yeah, success and failures is on me. So.
All right.
Speaking of it being a 2-car team, you're racing tonight with Caden Brown, obviously in the car. Where did that relationship come from? What is it like working with Caden?
Yeah, so we met several years ago whenever I was down in New Zealand. We were both running for, I was running for Sean Inslee in the 21 car down there, and Caden was working out of the shop in his family car. Never met him before in my life, and he was just the most down-to-earth kid I've ever met. And I say kid, he's a couple years younger than me, but we just got along really well. He's super fun to be around, and you know, he's just a great person. So he ran my micro for me a couple years ago. He came and spent a summer up in the United States, and we did a full-time micro schedule. And I always told him, I said, if I ever do a midget, actually he told me, he said, if you ever do a midget, you got to give me an opportunity, because he's a midget guy from Australia. That's what he grew up running. That's what he still runs today. So yeah, first time here running a midget, had to give him the opportunity, and it's fun to have someone invested in that you enjoy being around, and that's Caden for me.
In the pre-event press conference here last year, you were quoted as saying, you know, the Chili Bowl is the event that gets the attention of all of motorsports. Obviously, that's helped by the fact that It's happening at a time of the year where not a lot else is going on, at least here in our country. So I got to know, when you're off at your day job running the NASCAR Cup Series, you've got to be sharing the gospel, spreading the good word of the Chili Bowl, and people obviously are going to come up to you and talk about it. So do you find yourself in conversations in the middle of a NASCAR weekend, in the garage area, in the motor coach lot? How often are you just talking Chili Bowl with your competitors and your co-workers on the Sunday day job?
Well, certainly it's hot and heavy whenever we get back from this week, the early part of the season. It's a major talking point, but I mean, it's just such a home run with it being right in the middle of January. Like you mentioned, there's nothing else going on. So I think that's a big draw of why this event is what it is. And everybody pays attention to it because by now, everyone's starved for motorsports. We haven't had, racing since November, whether it was sprint car racing or NASCAR racing, and everybody's itching to get the bug and go racing again. And this kind of, it's it. And there's not another dirt event out there that gets the attention from outside industry like this race does.
Yeah. Christopher, one thing I've noticed with your cars over the last couple of years, I don't remember which exact year it started, but I think it was when you were with Chad. And I think Chris Wilkie mentioned it on Twitter yesterday, was the fact that you don't run that left side arm guard. Why is that? Because I've noticed that on your cars for the last 5 or so years. Is that something that you have more room with your arm, or is that something that you just like better? Why do you not run that left side arm guard?
Yeah, it was a thing that definitely I think Chad and I started doing whenever I first started driving for him. I always enjoyed seeing the drivers, and at that time, whatever, almost 10 years ago now, people were just starting to put doors on the cars that were starting to get hot and heavy. Everyone was doing doors, and I'm like, I want to go the opposite way. I'm going to do no left side panel, and that way you can really see in there and watch them work. It's an open wheel car, and you can see the driver, work his magic in there. So everything that I've owned, I've cut the left side panel off and let everybody see what I'm doing.
That looks great right there. I mean, just an old school look.
It's sick on the track.
Yeah.
Hey, take me back to the late 2000s when you're traveling up and down the road with old Wild Billy Lawhead. Back then, and I asked this because you came in a step behind Kyle, right? He was out there on the USAC trail with Keith just a little bit before you.
Yeah.
Did you ever envision, even when you get to Keith, fast forward 10, 15 years where we are now in time, that like you and Kyle are the hottest rivalry in dirt racing? I say rivalry, but just like most talked about, right? So everyone talks about, especially if you come to shootout, every Chili Bowl, it's Seabell, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy because whenever I first started over there at KKM in 2013, obviously NASCAR wasn't on the agenda, but whenever I started performing well, I guess fast forward a year, I won the championship, and then we were starting to talk about the next steps. It was, okay, well, Joe Gibbs Racing is the Toyota team that we basically want to go here. And it looks like it was just this perfectly planned course of KKM to Kyle Busch Motorsports late model to Kyle Busch Motorsports truck to JGR Xfinity to JGR Cup. It looks like it's this perfect line, right? But it was anything but that. And there were so many people involved in that process of getting me from A to B to C to D. And if you remove any one of those people from the equation, I don't end up where I am today. So, and honestly, it all started with Kyle, right? Kyle coming to KKM, performing like he did, and then moving on to NASCAR and having the success, and it left a gaping hole in the Toyota pipeline. They were all sad that they had this superstar driver, Kyle Larson, wearing Toyota suits back in 2012 and 2011, and then he signs a Chevrolet deal, and they're like, we're not letting the next one get away. And fortunately, that was me.
I know earlier in 2025, not earlier this year, last season, you came and ran with us a little bit at High Limit. I don't remember the track. I don't remember the race. Walker covered me, and then after the checkers, we shot with you because at the wheel spin, I said, member of Port Royal Posse, Christopher Bell. It's Port City Posse.
Port City Posse.
Walker
UCR.
covered me and saved me on that or highlighted my mistake. I'm not suggesting that Port City is the answer to this question, but I'm just curious. You're a 3-time champion of this event. You've raced all over the world. You've raced so many different kinds of cars. You're just like Kyle in your versatility and Tony Stewart and the greats of our sport, because you are a great of our sport. So I just got to ask, this event's so different. Everything about this event is different, but is there anywhere that you can go to prepare your driving ability, the car, your mind? Is there any track out there that's close enough that you can go there and test or race and go, all right, because of this weekend, because of this season, we have a better handle on things when we get to the Expo in January?
I've actually thought about that a lot over the course of the years of like, how do you perfect being the best you can be at the Chili Bowl? And Honestly, the only thing that I've come up with is that you have to be good at everything and run different tracks and different styles of things. So you think of the dirt here. The dirt here is pretty similar to Knoxville. Like it gets super wet on the top, very slick through the middle, very wet on the bottom at times, where you have to be very disciplined about your marks and where you place your car. That's a Knoxville thing. Well, Knoxville, you're not really going to run a bunch of non-wing cars there, so you got to figure out where you're going to run some non-wing cars at, maybe some midgets and stuff like that. So it takes, I think the guys that succeed here are the guys that run a little bit everywhere. So yeah, there's not a place out there in the United States or in the world for that matter that really prepares you or is a copy of this venue and the way this place races.
I didn't think so, but I just had to ask because everybody focuses on this event so much.
Hey, do you guys know why you even call me Wikipedia?
Yeah, I do. I know.
It's this guy.
Let's hear it,
it's this guy. This guy came up with it
in this building, right?
We were at home. It was like 2 weeks after Chili Bowl. He had a question on Twitter.
At home,
he asked if Jeff
He was
Gordon,
always the stat guy. He was always the stat guy. So I said, hey, I think it was.
It was
did
Jeff Gordon.
Did he ever run the Chili Bowl?
Yeah, he ran 16th in 1990, I believe.
Yep. And I said, hey, thanks, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Oh, like Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I
just
get
like
it.
Wikipedia.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm glad Tony finally figured that out after Wikipedia being a thing for 10 years here. So, Tony, welcome to the show.
I get bullied a lot around here.
Christopher, thanks for joining us, man. It's great catching up with you. Good luck tonight as a crew chief, and good luck later in the week as a driver.
I can promise you I'm going to be more nervous tonight than I am on Thursday.
You said you were about to throw up on the ramp yesterday. If you get more nervous than that, I don't want to be around for it.
I can't imagine what's gonna happen tonight.
Well, Christopher Bell, we'll watch him tonight as a crew chief. We'll watch him as a driver later on in the week. We've got more on the pre-race show after this break. We are going to take a look at some of the chips and flips from Monday night of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built, where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a NOS Zero sugar to get me.
The biggest night in pavement late model racing history.
This is our Daytona 500.
It's the biggest race of the year.
Destiny fulfilled!
This is the biggest race I've ever won.
The best dirt late model series in America.
Eibach Road Truck Lift Stage 3R. Proudly made in the USA. Designed for the most rugged and demanding off-road trails. Featuring front 2.5-inch coilovers and rear 2.5-inch reservoir shocks. Developed to provide maximum traction, consistency, and control off-road and on-road.
Officially at the halfway point of the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show here on Tuesday night of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. And we would now like to take a look at some bottomless chips and flips from last night as the flip count after Monday and Sunday's practice sits at 11. And shockingly, only 3 flips last night, Brian Walker. Obviously, there was a lot of close calls. Kyle Larson probably should have been added to that list with this moment in his heat race.
It's absolutely baffling how he did not get upside down. I was talking to Michael Lucino, and he said if that's anyone else in the building, they're barrel rolling out of the building.
What do you call that?
But Larson luck.
Larson luck.
He almost ended up in that dumpster over there in turn 2. Turn 1.
Repeated shootout.
Here's a couple more incidents throughout the night. That is Garrett Benson getting upside down on the start of his heat.
I've wanted to talk about this since I saw the repercussions or kind of just the fallout from this. Ever since he got upside down, Garrett Benson, that team, Tim Engler's team, did not stop working. They caught a yellow right after he got upside down, so they were able to stay in the work area. Garrett Benson got back out on track, and they salvaged their night because of the hard work.
Ricky Thornton Jr. going around there in the race of champions, getting clobbered by Shane Golovic in that incident as well. Thornton will go tonight and hoping to not have a similar incident. Here's something going on. That's a little weird there from, I believe that was Mac Leopard. Daniel Adler getting into him as well, trying to avoid that mess. And here's a couple more crazy moments. That is Eric Blummer, I believe, in the 60 car, getting over the top of the 56. Dave Collins getting involved as well. Just a lot of crazy moments. Look at Nick Hoffman here, getting very lucky with that incident, Brian.
Absolutely. He comes back to run top 10 after that. Corey Day, that was a big one right there.
That was in the race of champions. And so Payday, luckily he doesn't go until later in the week to make some repairs to that car.
Yep. I talked to HP. They're good to go.
Yep. There is Jesse Schlotfeld in his Chili Bowl debut having an incident. Michelle Decker, be careful down there on the backstretch.
If Schlotfeld and Hunter Brady don't have any bad luck, I don't know if they'd have luck.
So it's amazing, that little caution right there with Larson and the lap. Our only caution in the feature. I think we took maybe 11 minutes from green to checkered last night.
Yeah, that caution, the little contact between Larson and Gage Weldon trying to put him one lap down, sent him around. Gage Weldon, talking about him, he was one of the 85 rookies that are a part of the 2026 Chili Bowl Nationals. There are a lot more of those rookies going tonight, and our pit reporters, Earl Hoon Jr. and Blake Anderson, are going to talk to us about a few of them that are racing this evening.
Thank you, Chase. One rookie I'm keeping an eye on, Earl, Jet Barnes. So young, from California, picked up a 360 sprint car win at Placerville Speedway, really starting to turn heads, driving for Clayton Snow in the sprint car, partnering up with Chili Bowl champion Kevin and Jordan Swindell. He's going to be one to watch. He's shown speed in this building. He's got a driller in the junior sprints. That's the rookie I'm keeping an eye on, Earl.
I like that. Another person I'm going to be keeping my eye on here this evening, making his Chili Bowl debut. This driver out of Hindman, Pennsylvania. That's in Western PA, by the way, folks. It's going to be Drake Troutman. Troutman coming out of the super late model ranks in dirt. He had one great 2025 racing season. He was able to get a win with the World of Outlaw Late Model Series at the I-55 Speedway in the St. Louis Firecracker Face-Off. He was also able to gather 11 total wins this year. He also finished 6th in the World of Outlaw Late Model point standings. He's making his debut. He's with a very good team. So I'm going to keep my eye on Drake Troutman.
Well, Earl, not only is he a rookie, but I wanted to mention that somebody told me earlier that he wasn't even here for the practice night. So Drake Troutman, as green as it gets, and he's starting 8th in the final heat race, so he's got his work cut out. I'm going to have to really figure out this midget quickly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He was actually in competition during the week out of Arizona for the Wild West Shootout, so he's going to be another busy driver here this week. But yeah, good call. No laps whatsoever coming into the second qualifying night for the Chili Bowl Nationals, brought to you by NOS Energy Drink.
Well, Earl, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Well, Earl, I'm glad you're feeling better and you found a driver from Pennsylvania to talk about. I know that was probably killing you yesterday to not get that chance. Hey, I got to ask, I heard a rumor that at Shootout you were going around and challenging drivers to arm wrestling competitions. Is that true?
Yeah, and I was able to beat Joey Amantia during the toss Shootout. Hey, Tony, you know what? Maybe you and I could have a little arm wrestling
right here
contest
on the Chili Bowl stage.
I think we can make this happen.
I was going to say, Joey Mantia, and then, the junior sprint drivers you were challenging probably got tired of that. But I wanted to know why you never came and found me to challenge me to an arm wrestle. I think that'd be must-see TV.
I think it needs to be a part of the Chili's pre-race show, Earl.
I 100% agree. Tony, you are on. Let's make it happen.
Can't wait.
Oh, boy.
I will.
That's going to be good.
Hey, some other rookies I think we should mention.
Bring us back on track, Brian. Thanks.
Sheldon Creed running for 94 Racing.
Yeah.
Teammate to Hayden Wise. He has Chili Bowl champion Jay Drake working for him on those cars.
Okay.
And there's Parker Perry, young kid out of Indiana. He ran second to Kyle Larson last year in A-Class.
I've heard of him.
At the Tulsa Shootout. And then there's some notable internationals. Trent Way, I believe, goes tonight. Zoe Pierce. So I think there's 21 rookies total tonight to keep your eye on.
Yeah, 21. Had 17 last night. There's 85 total. So a lot of these guys
So far, 2 of the rookies last night are in the C main on Saturday.
Yeah, Jacob Boxall
and Weldon.
Yeah, Jacob
Boxall looked great last night. I don't know what you guys had for lunch today at Chili's. I had an appetizer of the bone-in wings, and then I went a little bit heavier today. I had the big QP burger, and I even snuck in a NOS energy drink to wash it all down with. So that's how my lunch at Chili's was today.
Oh, you went a little heavy.
A little heavy. You know, you got to start to build up the calories for Saturday because it's going to be a long day.
It is.
Chicken bacon ranch quesadillas.
I like the Chipotle bowl or the Mexican bowl they got. I got Brian going on the Mexican bowls. They are fantastic at Chili's. But
humble brag. I like that. The Chili's Chili Bowl Nationals pre and post race show is brought to you by Chili's and the Chili's 3 for me. It's the best $10.99 you can eat. Trust me, I know all about that.
You certainly do. You've had plenty of those in your career at the old Chili's Grill and Bar. When we come back from this break here on FloRacing, it'll be the 3 for me segment where the 3 of us will pick our podium for Tuesday night here at the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals.
Coming off of corner number 4, Jason Leffler looks down to the bottom for one last time, and it's Sammy Swindell. Relatively easy.
Racers don't slow down, and neither do we. At Factory 14, quality products, proven performance, and unmatched service come together under one roof. Our showroom is packed with everything from junior sprints to sprint cars, all ready for race day. Our race team and development program are shaping the future of this sport. And with professional trackside support across the country, you're never alone when you're part of our team. One team, one standard, always accessible. Factory 14, excellence in every detail.
It's going to be Canna McIntosh, 08, victorious tonight.
For years, our engineers have tore down everything we thought we knew. Every bolt, every seal, every millimeter. What emerged isn't just an upgrade. It's the new standard in racing performance. CSIN XT. Built to win. Engineered to dominate.
Please hold. This will only take 24.67 seconds. In this arena, there's no margin for error. Every component has one job. Perform when it counts. Precision, strength, consistency, maximum performance development.
Tuesday night of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals are being called to the staging lane for hot laps. Yes, we are going to have cars on the track here in about 20 minutes time. The Tulsa Expo Raceway. You are watching the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show with Chase Rodman, Brian Walker, and Tony Laporta. Of course, we've talked about it's Tuesday night. Landon Brooks was the big winner last year. Is it not Tuesday?
No, it is.
Okay.
It's all night. All night it's Tuesday night.
Club going up on a Tuesday.
You kind of hit that like Sunday, but you did it with Tuesday, so I was just thrown off a little bit. Sorry.
It's a high limit thing, midweek money series.
I guess high limit does put the money on the table for the drivers. But anyway, you were saying
Landon Brooks.
Club going up on a Tuesday. Yeah, Landon Brooks, he was the big winner here last year. Let's take a look at some of the other Tuesday night prelim winners because it is a very long list with a lot of different names on it. As you can see, Kyle Larson, I think he used to run on Tuesday as he went 2018 to 2021 winning all of those. But it's been Landon Brooks, Buddy Kofoid twice. Hank Davis is on the list. Our guest on the post-race show, Tyler Courtney, won it back in 2017. And Alex Bright in 2016. But when you look at that list there, Buddy Kofoid's not running. Kyle Larson's not running. Tyler Courtney's not running. So that leaves the door wide open here. Right?
Yeah, more than anything, I feel like Tuesday night has been the night over a long stretch of time that we've seen kind of guys that maybe are not nationally expected to win.
Right.
All the guys are great race car drivers, but to the world, lot of people were shocked about Landon Brooks last year. Same with Hank Davis. 2023, he really bursted onto the scene with that. And the same with Alex Bright back in the day, and Beeson, too.
I just like how Chase looks at this list on the graphic on the screen, goes, I guess Kyle Larson used to race on Tuesday nights. Yeah, he was quite successful, it seems, right there, as he takes up most of that screen. But I remember 2023, I couldn't make it. It was the winter after my first hip replacement before I turned 30. And watching Hank Davis do what he did, I remember sitting around going, who's that? And the world learned pretty quickly.
I was staying with Spencer Basin in Airbnb that week. I think he ran second to Hank that night, and he will admit pulling up to Hank under caution, looking out
I've
the
heard
car,
that story.
looking at the car. Who am I racing for the win right now at the Chili Bowl?
I had some really good friends, Marcus and Colette Widener from Colorado, come out here, and since they knew I couldn't attend, they had a cardboard cutout of me made, and they got Hank Davis to sign it, along with a bunch of other people. I think you probably signed it. I'm not sure who all did, but yeah, Hank Davis signed my face. It was pretty cool.
And now he's a perennial guy that's going to run up front here on the Tuesday prelim. Those were your former Tuesday night prelim winners presented by Winters Performance. There is the guy that was the winner in Victory Lane last year on this night, Landon Brooks, the young driver to Yuba City, California, driving for Matt Wood Racing in the number 57W. And now it is the time you've all been waiting for, of course. It is the 3 for me, the podium picks. Last night, I feel like we were relatively close. It was hard to really miss yesterday with the 4 guys that were kind of in that group with Larson and Danner and Golomick and McIntosh. But I think our 3 for me is going to be a whole lot different here tonight, and I always love to go for the kind of the guys off the board a little bit, I guess you could say. And so for me, the podium for tonight is going to be
the podium 4. Oh, the podium 4 tonight. I thought you were saying like the podium 4. My bad.
You want to host the show?
Sorry, I'll sit this next play out.
Okay,
my
right,
bad.
Sounds good. Yeah, my podium is going to be Zach Dom with the win. Okay, the Dominator. He's going to get the win. Second will be Ryan Timms, who switched to Tuesday night. And third is going to be the aforementioned Hank Davis. I am really, really liking Zach Dom. I know it's the Bondio thing. It went a little bit rough a couple years ago, but he looked absolutely ridiculous during the practice on Sunday. He's the 2010 prelim night winner. He ran third in the finale in 2016. He's been on the pole of prelim night 3 times. And so I think that Dom gets the bad luck out of the way, and he gets going the right direction. When he's in it, when he's in his trifecta car or his own car, Brian, he is one of the best midget racers in the country. And so I think tonight Zach Dom is going to be good.
Yeah, this was a lot harder than last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to, as an example, I'm going to lead you the guys that are not on my podium really quick.
Okay.
Landon Brooks, Zach Dom, Ricky Thornton Jr., Parker Price Miller, Gavin Boschel, Michael Pickens, Caden Brown, Burnham Crouch, and Gunnar Setzer were up there last year. Chase Randall, Jet Barnes, Kyle Jones, J.J. Yaley, Corbin Ruschenberg, Blake Hahn.
Yeah,
those are not.
Those guys are usually pretty good.
But I'm going with an all Oklahoma podium. I know I'm a homer. Guess what? Guess who was right last night? Guess who was the only one on the stage to pick the winner last night?
Where'd you learn it
this
from?
guy.
You picked Kyle Larson. Congrats.
Keep sitting on the sides, guys. Let me talk. Ryan Timms for the win with Keith Coombs Motorsports. I really liked his move to switch to Tuesday night. He won the Knoxville Nationals last year. It's
a big race.
Exactly. Yeah. He's no stranger to the big lights. I think Jonathan Beeson carries momentum over from Tulsa Shootout, winning that Outlaw Nomming race. He's in a great situation over there. He's got everything he needs. And then I have Hank Davis third, who I already warned him that I picked him third, and I told him to use it as motivation.
I got in a lot of trouble by Matt Wood. He said, thanks for picking us. And I said, I don't think my opinion carries much weight to the speed of the race cars or anything. But, Shane is a big picture racer, and he would still tell you that, they didn't lock in. But, again, he's a big picture guy. So I like the Beeson pick a lot. I really do. And I think momentum is worth a lot in motorsports, and especially in an event like this. If you can come in with, good set of vibes, as the kids say, that's going to help you out. It's not going to hurt you, at least. For me, he went 7-1 in this prelim night 1 year ago. Landon Brooks, I've got him going back to back. I think with Shane Golobic calling the shots on that car and learning what he's already learned from this week, I like Landon Brooks, and again, it's a momentum thing, right? Ryan Timms, momentum, coming off the Knoxville Nationals Championship back in August. I've got him running second. There's not a better team in this building than Keith Coombs Motorsports, and that's why they're right behind us, because they're such a prominent force. And then Brenham Crouch, I'll be the first to say I don't think he ran the cleanest race while he was up front last year, but I think he learned a lot, and we've seen that from him in high limit competition over the last 2 or 3 years. He learns a lot. He takes what happens in one season and he's able to critique and change what he does in the following season. So I've watched Brenham Crouch progress and grow as a driver with a wing over top, and I don't think anything's going to change here inside the Expo Center. I've got Brooks, Timms, and Crouch as my top 3.
Of course, Crouch is a former USAC full-timer in the midget division, and Landon Brooks, Tony's going with Landon Brooks. I mean, Brooks obviously trying to prove that last year was no fluke, and I mean, I've said it several times, whether it was on my YouTube channel or other things, those Matt Wood cars, I think they drive themselves around this racetrack. So Landon Brooks, I'm a big fan. He comes from my neck of the woods, of course, but Zach Dahm, Brian, it's just going to be Zach Dahm.
It's a good-looking car.
It would be awesome to just see Andy Bondio back in victory.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 times he's won as a car owner, the Golden Driller. So
yeah.
Just a legend in this building.
Yeah, legacy is right. What you think of when you think about Andy Bondio. You watched a lot of Tony Stewart's press leading into this event as the Grand Marshal. He references Andy Bondio for being one of the most, if not the most creative car designer and builder that's come into this building. And they haven't changed, right? In however many years they've been coming out of the 40-year history, those cars are still unique, and they're not slow. They've got a unique build to them, and they've always got drivers that are aggressive behind the wheel.
Well, let's take a look. Obviously, we've given you our 3 for me, the podium picks for tonight, but let's see where these guys line up in their heat races tonight. We'll go one by one. There's 9 heat races. We'll start with heat race number 1 and see if there's any guys that kind of stick out to us. And one of them was featured earlier on with our pit reporters. Jet Barnes is going to start 5th. And Brian, you mentioned Parker Price Miller. He's going to start in the 6th position in that Hink 21J as a teammate to Brady Bacon. Row 3, I think all eyes are going to be there. Obviously, Kaylee Bryson. She's on the outside of the front row, former A-main starter on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you really look at, you got to think Kaylee probably should run away with, especially Heat 1, the track's going to be so green.
Fast.
Yeah, right. You got to look at where Jet and Parker end up. You got to get to 2nd or 3rd, really. You want to put yourself in a good spot for that qualifier.
I like Blake's pick with Jet Barnes. I think with teaming up, as he said, with Kevin Swindell, I mean, who knows more in this building about setting up a car than Kevin. So, I think Jet's definitely going to be someone you have to watch out of Heat 1.
Let's flip the page to heat race number 2. This is where you're going to find the car that Christopher Bell is crew chiefing on for tonight. That is Caden Brown. He's going to start outside of row 1 with the Rocket Roger Crockett right there in a Johnny Herrera 45J. That is going to be a tough front row. Looking back through the field, there is Tony's pick for the win tonight. Landon Brooks has an opportunity to get some passing points in his heat race.
Yes, he does, and so does Chase Randall, man.
Yes.
Michael Facento is actually the one pretty much wrenching on those cars. They did a great job last night with Cameron Key, ran top 10 in the A, and they came from back of the heat race, but obviously it's going to be interesting. Chase being Heat 2 is so much earlier in the night.
But I'll tell you this, I just confirmed that he actually did say this quote earlier in his career here at the Chili Bowl. Kevin Swindell, who I just talked about a moment ago, he's known for saying, you cannot win the Golden Driller in your heat race on your prelim night, but you can certainly lose it there. So you talk about Brooks and Randall getting a great opportunity to make some passing points. Well, all you can do is all you can do in these heats. You got to make sure you finish and advance and see where the chips fall.
Heat race number 3, take a look at the lineup on that one. It is going to be Ryan Timms rolling from the pole. This is a must-win situation for the Knoxville Nationals winner and Tuscarora 50 champion from 2025. Timms has a great opportunity to get the win there. Not going to be much passing points, which means, Brian, he's probably going to have to do a little bit more work during the qualifier.
Yeah, but you see it every year at Chili Bowl. 1-to-1 in a heat race is not that big of a deal.
No.
I'm pulling up last night. Last night, Nick Hoffman went 1-to-1 in Heat 1. He was 16th in points. Started, I believe that's
third or fourth.
Yeah. Second row of a qualifier. Do your job in that. You're going to start in the front 2-3 rows of the A main, and you're fine.
Well, like you said, Chase, you get that chance in that qualifier, right? Thanks to a 6-car flip, an invert, as the kids say, in those 4 qualifiers, you get a great opportunity to continue to make passing points.
Jordan Kinzer back there on row 4, Indiana sprint car driver and he's running this week for Chase Briscoe Racing. As we now flip the page to heat race number 4, taking a look at this one. Got a couple more good guys coming from the back of the field here. Gunnar Setzer outside of row number 3 was very impressive in his rookie year at the Chili Bowl last year. Michael Pickens, the Kiwi, back in the 7th spot, and of course, one of the fan favorites, J.J. Yaley, former Triple Crown champion with USAC, going to start from the 9th spot, so he's obviously got some work to do and some potential passing points, and you can't count on Max Adams from the front row, Indiana sprint car driver.
Yeah, I was going to say, old 5X out there on the outside poles looking good. By the time Heat 4 rolls around too, Track's getting a lot wider. It'll be interesting to see what Pickens and Yaley can do.
I just spoke to Gunnar Setzer back in the pit area. I mean, last year's Rookie of the Year at this event, if I remember correctly, and he said that he learned a lot. He had over 20 top 10 finishes with USAC sprint car competition in 2025. He said he learned about being aggressive and running the cushion the way it has to be ran. I watched for him to have confidence here tonight.
Heat race number 5, a lot of heavy hitters here in this one. You got Brenham Crouch, who locked in on Tuesday night last year, going to start in the 4th position. Got Gavin Boschel and Kyle Busch's 51. Jace Park, who ran a lot of 410s this year, a former USAC driver as well. And then Ty Gibbs out back and the Chad Boat Racing 84. And so, yeah, that inside of the final 3 rows, that is going to be interesting. Also, you got former Chili Bowl champion Johnny Heidenreich.
Yeah,
it's Johnny Heidenreich again.
Johnny Heidenreich again. One of the biggest things I think we have to look at in every single heat race, you saw it a couple times last night, is some of the not-so-favored guys, how people take off, how these rows take off. There was one heat race last night where the guy who started 6th, I think, was in 3rd into turn 1 because the bottom lane just did not take off.
But remember, it's not like the rule book we have at High Limit where you must stay in the tire tracks of the car in front of you. You can go racing, but that means that if you beat the car in front of you to the line, you can be penalized. We saw that happen to Briggs Danner last night. Luckily for Briggs, they waved the yellow and brought it back, but you have to make sure, even if the guy in front of you stumbles, you cannot beat him to the restart line.
Yeah, that was a close call for Danner, able to make up for it later on. Heat race number 6, RTJ, going to start 7th. And remember, he got spun out last night during the Race of Champions qualifying, but the guy on the pole is always solid at the Chili Bowl. That, of course, is Blake Hahn in 52. You got Kyle Jones back there. He's had some good runs in this building before in the 7TX. Those are 3 guys I would be watching for in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta, like we talked about earlier with Tim's, Blake just got to go out there, do his job, get 100 points, move on the qualifier, and just keep the night trucking.
Yeah, I agree with Blake Hahn. You know, he's in a good spot. You stay up front, you finish up front, you're in a good spot. Ricky Thornton Jr. said they really struggled with their cars on Sunday, and with him, we saw his performance in the Race of Champions. They're working really hard at Reinbold Underwood to get those cars better figured out.
Let's take a look at the 7th heat race lineup. I like Zach Weigel in this one, obviously rolling from the pole. He has shown a lot of speed. Got Sheldon Creed. We mentioned him during the rookie talk earlier on in the pre-race show. Corbin Ruschenberg, who was spectacular a few years ago with Tanner Thorson helping on that car. 3M, and you cannot ever count out KB up there. Kevin Baer, just a legend of the Oklahoma area in 91, going to start 4th. And so heat race number 7, at this point in the night, the tracks get wider. You'll see maybe the groove, I guess you could say, moving up maybe a lane and a half, 2 lanes off the bottom, and start to see some movement during that 7th heat race.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that's Brandon Carr in a KKM car on the outside pole, too.
I like Garrett Williamson. He only has 1 R in his name when traditionally you see 2 R's in the
and
first
2
name.
T's.
Garrett.
2 T's. He only has 1.
You're right. Yeah, he's saving time and he's making speed with only 1 R, 1 T. I'm a Garrett Williamson fan.
Heat race number 8 on your screen, and there is...
Look at row 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, the 2 former prelim night winners, Zach Dahm and Hank Davis, rolling in that one. That is going to be a battle to get to the front in that one, of course. Trent Way, another one of the rookies in a fantastic race car for Chase McDermott Racing, the 9NZ, and so it'll be fun to watch him. Like we mentioned, he is one of those rookies, but all eyes going to be on row 2 in that one.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Track's going to be dialed by then.
And Zach Dahm's had his mind wrapped around race cars already this week because he's been crew chiefing for Nick Hoffman on Jeff Taylor's midget. They ran last night. So Zach Dahm's always in the game when he comes here to the Chili Bowl, but working on race cars definitely keeps him sharp.
Final heat race of the night, Luke Storer, who was a Chili Bowl pool legend here last year in the Second Opinion Auto number 2W, going to roll from the pole, but there is Jonathan Beeson outside of row number 3, and Drake Troutman, keep your eye on him. The late model star has not ran a single lap, as far as I know, in a midget, was not here on practice day. Gonna roll off, shotgun on the field next to Dalton England. That is gonna be something to watch for.
Yeah, the 2W was a lock on my dirt draft earlier today. Yep. It'll be interesting to see how, man, I forget who it was. It was, Cy Lynch. How our buddy Cy Limits does rolling out from P5 there.
Cy Limits. The first time he was ever in a midget was when they pushed him down the ramp to fire off here 1 year ago. The second time he's been in a midget was on Sunday here, firing off for practice. So he talked about the fact that if you're fast in a 410 wing sprint car, it makes, getting acclimated to a midget a little bit easier. So he doesn't run midgets all season long because we get to have so much fun with him at high limit, and it'll be fun to see what Cy has learned from his first time in a midget just 360 some odd days ago.
You can see cars on the left side of the screen there heading down the ramp, getting themselves prepared for hot laps here on night number 2 of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. And a reminder, racing lives on Flow. Stream the biggest moments across dirt, pavement, and beyond with FloRacing. Get live events, replays, highlights, and exclusive content all in one place so you never miss a lap. Stream it all live on FloRacing. That's going to wrap things up here from the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show. Let's now head down to the booth. Caleb Hart, Chris Moore, and Clinton Boyles. Take it away, boys.
Guys, you killed it on the Chili's Chili Bowl Bar and Grill pre-race show. Thank you very much, Chase Rodman, Ryan Walker, and Tony Laporta. Welcome into the broadcast. It's racing time here at the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink. Caleb Hart, Clinton Boyles, Chris Moore. They covered it in the pre-race show. Clinton, this field is deep, and it is wide open.
Yeah, it's deep. I don't think